All right, here is part two, and it will be much shorter than the first. There's just so much stuff to cover for events. But I know after posting that video, I'm going to have more questions. So I figured I may as well just go ahead and answer those now while I'm thinking of it. So I know that I said I stand behind my table. That does not mean that you sit at behind your table so nobody knows that you're there. That doesn't mean that. Sometimes I'm beside my table. A lot of times I'm beside my table, but I'm always right there, right in front. I don't have my display up over, so you can't tell that I'm there. I'm always standing, so you always want to be standing and greeting people that come by. You don't want them to think that you're not even there, so you want to make sure that you're doing that. So I wanted to elaborate on that part. I've been doing shows for a long time, so I know. I kind of that's kind of what I do now. I'm pretty used to and comfortable with doing shows, so that's what works for me. But you have to be up and you have to be talking to people. If you're not talking to people, they're not going to come to your table. You got to be nice and friendly, and you got to relate to them, and that's how you get customers. Also, I wanted to go over when you leave an event, and let's say you didn't get any sales, you didn't get any leads that were very good. It's okay. It is not the end of the world. I cannot tell you how many shows I have done where I didn't get anything. And I drive a lot for my shows, and it can be such a bummer. That's how it goes. That's okay. Go to the next one. There are absolutely no guarantees when you do a vendor show anywhere. You don't know. If it's sunny and 70 out like it is today, they might come because it's nice out, or they may not come because it's nice out and they want to do yard work. You don't ever know. So there's no guarantees, especially in the wintertime. I tend to not do too many events in certain months just because the weather here is so touchy and Mother Nature can just throw you for a loop. So you just don't know. You might think it's really excited you have a show and it's January 15th, and what do you know, there's a blizzard coming in that morning. So you never are guaranteed. It also depends a lot on if the show was advertised well, other than like on Facebook, if they actually put it in the paper and they made signs. There's so many things that go to an event as far as the event coordinator goes that there's just never ever a guarantee on it. And then as far as my display, because it is bigger, you guys that are on my team all know how I got that display. I've been doing this for a while, and it accumulates. But we've talked about this before. So if you need help with that, let me know. But as far as what my display now, there is really nothing on my display other than the carton holders that are that expensive. And my carton holders, those I got from Hobby Lobby, and you can use a coupon for that. So it's not like I went out and spent hundreds of dollars on what I used for my display. I used a coupon, and then my things that I used for my jars, which you guys can all see my vendor show pics. It's either on my Facebook wall, I always post a picture there, or in the team group, there's ideas too. Those things I used for my jars, I got at Walmart, and those were like, I think maybe $1.97. So they're not that expensive. And then, one-time deal, and then, you have them forever. So another thing to keep track of is when you're doing your vendor shows, everything is tax deductible. So when you got to use it for business expense. So keep the receipt for doing the show. If you have to stop and, keep track of your mileage, if you're going a long ways, if you have to stop and, food while you're there, things like that, make sure that you're keeping track of any expenses, supplies. The picture, I use picture frames from the Dollar Tree to put my flyers and stuff in. All that tax deductible, so make sure that you're keeping that expense, those expenses somewhere so you can tally those up at the end of the month. I think that's it for just a couple things that I wanted to clarify before my email or my YouTube box gets flooded. So, other than that, hopefully this second one it's a lot shorter. It's only like 5 minutes. So, I just want to clarify those things for you and hope that helps out as well. All right, go out and book some events.